At 76, Richard Gere, once one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, lives a life of exile by his own choice. Known for his charm and undeniable screen presence in classics like Pretty Woman, Gere commanded the screens for decades. Yet, despite being a global sex symbol and having access to everything fame could offer, he turned his back on Hollywood. Today, he lives a quiet life in Madrid, raising 2 toddlers, far removed from the glamour and chaos of his past. This isn't a tale of disgrace or failure, but one of self-imposed exile, where Gere rejected fame's trappings for a life of peace and truth. A childhood in Syracuse, restlessness and searching. Born in Richard Tiffany Gere on August 31st, 1949 in Philadelphia, Richard's early years unfolded in the small town of Syracuse, New York. The town, with fewer than 5,000 residents, had one movie theater named Hollywood, where Richard's restless energy took root. His father, Homer, an insurance agent, was known as the town's quiet moral compass. He had once dreamed of becoming a Methodist minister, a calling he embodied in all his work. Richard's mother, Doris Ann, filled their home with music and warmth, and it was within this environment that Gere's passions for music, gymnastics, and philosophy began to take shape. He played multiple instruments and excelled in sports, but his inner search for meaning would eventually lead him to a different path. Philosophy and the search for meaning. Gere's inquisitive nature didn't fit the conventional path. In 1967, he graduated high school and received a gymnastics scholarship to the University of Massachusetts Amherst. There, he chose philosophy as his field of study, a choice that surprised many. While most students focused on practical careers, Richard dove deep into existential questions. What is existence? What is reality? The answers he sought weren't found in textbooks, but in his search for a higher purpose. At the time, Gere felt a sense of dissatisfaction, wondering what the world was all about. The Methodist faith of his father didn't provide the answers he needed, leading him to read extensively and explore alternative spiritual practices. The turning point? A journey to Buddhism. In his early 20s, Richard found his spiritual home in Buddhism. Initially, he explored Zen meditation, practicing Tai Chi and sitting for months in cramped apartments. But it was a trip to Nepal in the late 1970s that truly changed his life. There, in the shadow of the Himalayas, Gere met Tibetan monks and the Dalai Lama. Their teachings resonated deeply with him, challenging everything he had been taught about acting and emotions. Instead of pursuing fame or ego, Gere became a devout Tibetan Buddhist, embracing its philosophy fully. He even walked across Tibet as a pilgrim, immersing himself in the teachings of Tibetan Buddhism and leaving behind his old self in pursuit of a higher truth. Hollywood's invitation and rising stardom. Despite his newfound spirituality, Richard's career in Hollywood was taking off. His early roles, such as his part in Looking for Mr. Goodbar, 1977, and Days of Heaven, 1978, began to garner attention. But it was American Gigolo, 1980, that propelled Gere into superstardom. He became an overnight sensation, the embodiment of a charismatic, enigmatic leading man. As his fame grew, so did the disconnect between his public persona and his spiritual journey. Gere was now a sex symbol, his face plastered on magazines, and his name a guarantee for box office success. But despite the glitz, he struggled internally, as his meditation and Buddhist practices stood in stark contrast to the Hollywood machine. Love and public scrutiny, the marriage to Cindy Crawford. In 1988, Gere's personal life took center stage when he met supermodel Cindy Crawford. Despite a 17-year age difference, the couple shared an instant connection, bonded by their mutual interest in Buddhism and meditation. They became Hollywood's ultimate power couple, adored for their beauty, success, and shared values. However, their relationship soon faced challenges. Cindy, young and eager, struggled to fit into Gere's world of deep meditation and introspection. Gere, for his part, was perhaps less willing to compromise. Despite their chemistry, cracks began to form, and in 1991, they eloped to Las Vegas in a spontaneous ceremony. But this impulsive union wasn't the fairy tale it seemed. By 1994, Gere and Crawford had separated. The marriage, lasting only 4 years, was under constant media scrutiny, further fueling the public's obsession with their lives. The strain of public scrutiny and separation. Their separation was a subject of tabloid frenzy, reports about their marriage being a cover-up for other personal issues dominated the media. In an attempt to set the record straight, Gere and Crawford took out a full-page ad in the Times of London in 1994, stating their commitment to each other and denying rumours about their marriage. But the ad only seemed to fuel more speculation, and in the end, their marriage ended quietly. For Gere, the public's inability to accept their love, combined with his increasing disillusionment with Hollywood, marked the beginning of his retreat from the limelight. A shift toward privacy and peace. As his Hollywood career continued to cool, Gere found solace in his spiritual practices and private life. He gradually withdrew from the industry, choosing to focus on his family, his meditation, and his activism, rather than chasing the next big project. The man who had once been at the center of Hollywood's attention chose a different path, one that led him away from the red carpets and studio lights. His exile wasn't a fall from grace, but a deliberate decision to live by his principles, even if it meant losing everything Hollywood had to offer. Richard Gere's legacy, a life of integrity and peace. Richard Gere's story is one of internal conflict, sacrifice, and a search for meaning beyond fame. He rejected Hollywood's throne for something deeper: peace, spirituality, and activism. His career, once full of blockbuster roles, was overshadowed by his commitment to his beliefs. Yet, in choosing integrity over success, Gere discovered a life that Hollywood never offered him. Today, he lives in Madrid, raising a family and continuing his activism, free from the expectations of the entertainment industry. His legacy is not just that of a talented actor, but as a man who followed his heart, even when it led him far from the glittering lights of Hollywood.